Thanks for joining us for Your Voice, Your Stories. I'm Carol Burnett. Each week we highlight important issues impacting your community and introduce you to people working to make our neighborhoods better. Here's what we have for you tonight.
Plans for a new gas station and car wash collide with a historic pet cemetery in Elkridge.
Talking Little Italy over what could come of this President Street parking lot and how it could potentially be redeveloped.
In Cherry Hill, a vacant school has been a headache for neighbors since 2023. Raven Payne has more on what residents say needs to happen with the building. But first, neighbors are celebrating safety enhancement at their local playground. This comes after years of concerns that speeding cars could put children at risk. WMAR 2 News' Mallory Safaste first reported on those fears last month, and now she has an update because if it's a matter for you, it's a matter for Mallory.
Over the years, cars have crashed through this playground fence and the city replaced it again and again. This prompted neighbors to push for a more protective and permanent solution, which they now have, but it took a lot of persistence. It's clear a fence is no match for cars barreling off Northern Parkway. We know of at least 2 crashes in April and, according to Google Maps, sometime in 2023. And that's why Harriet Ross reached out to us.
And that's all we want. Safety for our young people, and not only that, for our senior citizens as well.
We spoke with her and Lauren Matthews, the president of the Glen Oaks Community Association, in August about their efforts to get the fence around Chinquapin Park Playground repaired and a protective structure in front of it. Since April, they've held community meetings, safety walks, and filed 311 requests.
And they close them out and say that the work is done and it's not done.
In early August, we contacted Baltimore City Recreation and Parks. The next day, they made a temporary repair. A little over a month later, there's now a permanent solution. Bollards line the perimeter of the problem area, keeping traffic out and kids safe inside.
I feel so much better, and I just want to thank you. I want to thank all of those who were involved.
Northside Baptist Church pastor Walter Parrish III is also relieved.
This park has been a concern for us because not only do members of our church, but members of our community enjoy this park.
He said the results weren't immediate, but worth it.
We began to wonder if this had happened in other communities, would the delay have been the same? We wondered if there was some breakdown in communication, and we were quite honestly quite frustrated and feeling unheard. And then one day I got a call from Harriet Ross, and she says, guess who I called? I called Mallory. And literally everything has changed.
Also in August, we noticed a storm had taken down a massive tree across the street, so kids dribbled around it. Recreation and Parks sent out an urban forester after we notified them, and that's also been remedied.
Persist, be persistent, and if need be, call Mallory. I'm not really trying to be part of the cheerleading squad, but it's the fact that it was as a result of a call to you that this got changed.
Baltimore Recreation and Parks manages around 260 parks and 120 playgrounds. If you see any park or playground maintenance issues in your area, you can report it to Baltimore 311. In Glen Oaks, Mallory Safaste, WMAR 2 News.
And if you scan the QR code on your screen, this will take you to Mallory's report. There she has a link to the file 311 request for any issues in your community. And if you have a matter for Mallory, she wants to hear from you. You can email her at mallory@wmar.com or find her on Facebook and X.
New Era Academy's been an eyesore for Cherry Hill neighbors for 2 years. And they say now they're eager to see what Baltimore City Public Schools plans to do about it.
New Era Academy hasn't had a student in or out of its doors since it was closed in 2023. The school board voted to close it because of low enrollment and deteriorating infrastructure. Lamont Witherspoon had to send his son to a different school after the closure. Now he has to look at the empty school across the street from his home every day.
It was like the school was a role model for a lot of the kids, and for them to be closed down for a couple years, I mean, we find money for everything else.
He says the school was a great source of structure for students.
All the kids in this community could have used that discipline. I used to see the kids coming out of there dressed up in their uniforms and took very pride.
He thinks it's part of a trend he says he's seen in the city.
I I look at, when I drive out in the county and stuff, I see them schools getting built up, but schools and majority African-American neighborhoods are always the first to go.
A Baltimore City Public Schools spokesperson tells me securing vacant schools is a significant undertaking. They say City Schools has taken multiple steps to protect the property, including using reinforced materials to secure doors, windows, and other openings. But even so, since 2024, around 43 city school police reports have been filed related to the school, including cases of arson, burglary, and disorderly conduct.
I'm gonna see the police come out a lot because it's abandoned. The kids don't have nowhere else to go but abandoned. If they had use for it, then it would serve a purpose again.
He looks towards the school district to do something about it. City Schools tells me it already is. The district issued a call for proposals for the New Era Academy property. The process is now underway and proposals are currently being reviewed. Lamont has a proposal of his own.
I think they should reopen it. And if I had to help start a petition, I'd be more than happy.
City Schools says its goal is to identify a partner who can both support the creation of a new City Schools high school and develop the land so that it can be of greater use to the community. In Cherry Hill, Raven Payne, WMAR 2 News.
If you blinked, you might miss the rock wall, which separates the Rosa Bonheur Pet Cemetery from the seemingly endless traffic on Route 1 here in Elkridge. But beyond that wall lies decades of Maryland history.
This cemetery is so fascinating, in fact, that William Schaefer, the previous governor of Maryland, buried his dog Willie too here. We have a World War II veteran, Doberman, who was promoted to corporal because he saved so many American soldiers.
With available land for development so scarce along the corridor, it was only a matter of time before someone would want a piece of this cemetery. This time for a Sheetz convenience store complete with gas pumps and a car wash. The only thing lying in their way? Nearly a century's worth of pet graves, and in some instances, their owners' plots.
In the front, there are 2,000 burials just in the area that the Corridor Square LLC wishes to develop.
Even though Howard County's planning board rejected a bid to have a portion of this parcel rezoned for the project, opponents aren't celebrating just yet. Developers could still take it to the zoning board, but something that happened here in the cemetery a few years ago could certainly come back to haunt them. An apparent effort by someone to clear out headstones and to mass human and animal remains in an unmarked grave.
I mean, one of the interesting things that the planning board said was that the owner of this cemetery, which is Memorial LLC, not Mark Levy, who only has a contract to buy it, but the owner of this cemetery is responsible for the disinterring of all these bodies, which was probably done illegally.
It's a bitter footnote in the storied history of a cemetery some would pave over if they get their way.
The one thing that I felt when I first came here, although the grass was 6 feet high, you could feel the love and the respect that was here. All life is precious.
In Elkridge, Jeff Hager, WMAR 2 News.
Beside bustling President Street, the major artery carrying cars downtown and to I-83, a surface-level parking lot at 301 South President Street at the front door of Little Italy.
So this is now the second time a developer has asked for a rezoning change.
Lisa Rignanti leads the Little Italy Neighborhood Association and says the developer, who could not be reached for a comment, is eyeing a 24-story apartment building for this plot, and to make that a reality is looking at rezoning it.
The purpose of that is to go above the 12 stories that is now zoned for. What we know right now is somewhat similar than the first request. The first request was 32 stories, which would be higher than Avalon at 24. Now they said they'd like to build a 24-story apartment building, so equal height to Avalon, which is next door.
Rignanti is asking neighbors to vote online or with paper ballots to make their voice heard to their councilman Jermaine Jones. Rezoning would have to be approved by the mayor and city council. Pam Needleman owns Sweet Louie Salon here on Albemarle Street, a block away from the parking lot.
We're not anti-development, but I don't think it would be good to have something like, a very big Empire State Building kind of building at the end of the street. I mean, I'll never see the light of day again.
Joe Welke, meantime, says there's nothing wrong with building on the property, but would like to see more thought given to access and the daily undertakings of a building that size.
Well, from the meetings we went to, I mean, most of the access for the property is off of Fawn Street. So Fawn Street's probably not capable of, the traffic coming in and out as far as deliveries and trash and, parking and whatnot.
Neighbors in Little Italy can vote from now until October 1st to make their voices heard on what could become a major new high-rise. In Little Italy, Jack Watson, WMAR 2 News.
A growing controversy in Ellicott City is threatening some fruity art. Why supporters say the county is unfairly picking a fight.
Who'd like to be first? My old WMAR 2 News on Facebook. You're watching WMAR 2 News, part of the Scripps News Group.
Welcome back to Your Voice, Your Stories. A fitting tribute to a Baltimore legend, a new way to experience the Reginald F. Lewis Museum. And looking for a way to repurpose old keychains or trinkets, well, 3 keychain libraries are popping up all over town. But first, he's a century old, but he's still manning his post. Meet the World War II veteran guarding a local landmark and why he feels it's so important to keep up his work.
At a century old, Leonard Larry Washington still keeps watch at the entrance of the Arch Social Club, a Baltimore institution that's been here since 1905, more than a decade before he was born.
Nobody couldn't come in if I didn't want you to come in.
Really?
Yeah, police came in.
Did you let him in?
Huh?
Did you let him in?
No.
Drafted into the Army in 1943, Larry served 3 years as a supply cook, military police officer, and even kept the fire going for his unit. On the front lines of Normandy, he manned a .50 caliber machine gun, earning the nickname Bazooka Man.
I was the one supposed to stop and protect the truck. I was a .50 caliber machine gunner. I was a bazooka man. Shoot that bazooka. Yeah.
He says back then it was hard for black soldiers to rise in rank, but he took any stepping stone he could get, including Private First Class, also known as PFC.
I ain't worried about it. When I got PFC, that's just like me getting $100.
When he came home in 1945, he found a new mission, the Arch Social Club. He's been here since October 25th, 1945, first as a member, now as a doorman.
Everybody knows him. More people know him than he know them.
And for Larry, it's never been about the money.
All profit I make, I give it to the club.
Everything you make, you give it back to the Arch Social
Give
Club.
it to the club.
It's not important to you.
It's that important to me.
Incorporated in 1912, the Arch Social Club grew out of segregation, offering black Baltimoreans a place for culture, charity, and fellowship.
They're the first generation of men coming out of slavery born free. Yeah.
This is what they started.
Yeah, this is what they started.
Today, Larry's front lines are the doors to the social club.
Well, people don't realize that once a soldier, always a soldier.
And there he will stay, because really, there's no place he'd rather be.
I live here. This is my home.
In Penn North, Sierra Williams, WMAR 2 News.
I'm Maria Morales at the Village of Mondawmin in West Baltimore, where the Lewis Museum has opened up a one-of-a-kind exhibit.
Reginald Lewis is a Baltimore legend. He was a titan of industry and a philanthropist. Now here in his old stomping ground, West Baltimore, his legacy is being carried on with a new permanent gallery at the Village at Mondawmin. One of the carriers of that legacy is his nephew, Russell Fugate, who gave us an interview to talk about his late uncle and what this new gallery means to his family.
We didn't want the museum, and I know Director Freeman, the director of the museum, didn't want the museum to just be contained to the 4 walls. Really wanted to be able to take it into the community.
Lewis's family lived on Poplar Grove in Moser. That's where Reginald and Russell's father, Gene Fugate, grew up. So it's fitting that the Reginald F. Lewis Museum of Maryland African American History and Culture is expanding its footprint by opening its first satellite gallery in West Baltimore.
I know how historical this community is in Mondawmin Mall, Mondawmin Village, and I've known that for a long time. So this is very much important for the Renaissance that's happening here in West Baltimore.
It's starting with an exhibit showcasing the often overlooked contributions of Black healthcare professionals from West Baltimore, since the tenants at the village are mainly health services. Amani Haynes is the museum's curator.
My favorite is the graduation cape of the Helen Nursfield Nursing School from Provident Hospital. This graduation cape behind me was donated to us by their last graduating class in 1973.
The gallery will feature rotating exhibits every 18 months, all designed to honor and celebrate West Baltimore's connection to the city's history, art, and culture, and to make museum resources more accessible to the community. The gallery is in the east entrance of the village at Mondawmin and can be seen during regular business hours. In West Baltimore, Maria Morales, WMAR 2 News.
I'm Megan Knight here in Columbia at this little free keychain library. They're popping up all over the area where you can take a keychain, leave a keychain, and always walk away with a smile.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Kintish. You can call me Ben once we've met.
AKA Ben the Keychain Guy.
If someone loves monkeys, especially monkeys who have sunglasses,
He turns trinkets into decor for your keys.
we got a kangaroo, a seal, a rhino. This is a bowl of completed keychains, all of which I made lovingly.
They hang on a box in his backyard in Columbia,
Hippos, aplenty, and one moose.
just yards away from a walking path,
Dinosaurs live here.
which Ben sometimes uses to advertise his little free keychain library.
If you can take one, or if you take two, you gotta give the second one to a friend or loved one. That's the rule. You know, spread keychain love. It's the Columbia way.
What started as a project to bring delight and whimsy to all
People like the bears.
is also building up neighborhood connections.
Buddy, come here, boy. Sometimes they live 2 blocks away and they come here once a week. Or they heard about me on Facebook and it's their first time.
More of these keychain libraries are popping up locally. You can't miss the bright pink one in Hamden off Elm Avenue near 36th Street. And there's this one tucked in a neighborhood in Rogers Forge and Towson. Each with their own look and style, but all with the same mission, spreading positivity.
Sharing, upcycling, being a little crafty and creative, hanging out with friendly dogs, enjoying the outside, and giving to one another. That's a great way to start building our neighborhoods and rebuilding connections at a time when we need it more than ever. I think we're looking pretty good. Ooh, a yak. You don't see those in the wild in Columbia, except at the Keychain Library.
And we have the locations of the local keychain libraries, just like this one, posted on our website. We also have a link where you can find other whimsical libraries around the country. In Columbia, I'm Megan Knight for WMAR 2 News.
On Main Street in Old Ellicott City, you'll find all kinds of things, from historic signage to art and everything in between, like the aubergine, French for eggplant, at the wine bin owned by Dave Carney.
It's kind of our mascot in a way. It gets decorated at the holidays, Valentine's, Christmas, St. Patty's Day. People put decorations on it. It's very cute and kitschy.
And across the street, a peach at Paula Dwyer's Georgia Grace Cafe.
We want more of that here to this town because this town is cool and it's funky.
Both statues are created by artist Jan Kirsch, and both stirring up a juicy controversy with the Historic Preservation Commission of Howard County. It all began with an anonymous complaint, and while the produce may resemble some suggestive emojis, Carney says that argument is just bananas.
It's not actually a sexual, it's a fruit and vegetable, so I find that weird.
The commission has raised concerns that these two statues could detract from the historic buildings that characterize Old Ellicott City, but there remains no specific guidance when it comes to art.
You know, they said the art should be old. I don't really know what old art is unless we can somehow get the Mona Lisa and put it there, which I don't think the Louvre is going to lend it to us anytime soon.
The commission has ruled the aubergine can stay another year, but no longer, and the peach can't remain where it is. Don Ruhr is a property owner who works with the Fund for Art in Ellicott City. He plans to appeal the decision at next month's commission meeting.
You need a reason, you need guidelines. Why can't the peach stay? Because you don't like it is not To me, that's not enough of a reason.
Thank you. Thank you so much. In the meantime, they've collected signatures, and the Fruity Fight has inspired T-shirts that raise money for the Howard County Arts Council. And though it may seem like cheeky timing, the businesses are hosting a joint sold-out dinner Thursday night in celebration of the statues. That was already in the works.
They're just meant to bring fun and joy to the street, and they do exactly that. And I think more people want them to stay than for them to go.
In Ellicott City, Blair Sable, WMAR 2 News.
Download the WMAR 2 News app. Search WMAR in your app store. WMAR 2 News on social media for daily content.
Sipping local. It's fall and football season, the perfect time to reach for a beer. But before you pour up, there's a bit of a process. September is National Craft Malt Month, a key ingredient in beer. At Bear Branch Malt in Carroll County, the farm is making sure Maryland breweries have a local supply. They grow their own grains, transform it into malt, and then deliver to more than 50 businesses across the state.
We were sourcing local ingredients, but we couldn't find everything we needed in order to make 100% Maryland beers. And so I wanted to use my technical skills to build out a supply chains.
And customers can taste the results. On September 30th, Max's Tap House in downtown Baltimore will feature more than 20 beers brewed with Bear Branch malt, giving beer lovers a chance to experience a true Maryland beer. If you have stories you'd like us to cover, we want to hear from you. You can email us at storyideas@WMAR.com. And that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to come back next week for your voice, your stories.